Today we're talking about Dinah's rape. So if you're a child, or if you don't even know what the word rape means, run away.
Go away! Read some books!
This is your moment to go and watch another one of my videos. This story begins when Jacob decides to settle outside the city of Shechem in Canaan.
I live here now.
His daughter Dinah decides to go and have a little adventure, maybe explore the city of Shechem, meet the ladies there, and make some friends. But when she walks into that city, she never comes back the same. The prince of Shechem sees Dinah, and I bet she was a very beautiful girl. So he decides that he wants her, not in love, in lust. So he just forcibly takes her and rapes her. And then after he's done this atrocious thing, he decides that, hey, maybe I do kind of love this girl. I want to marry her. And I heard a very crazy theory out there while I was researching this, that this wasn't actually rape, that Dinah and the prince actually were in love, but since this was a relationship out of wedlock, the Bible classified it as a rape. But no, guys, don't believe that. Dinah and the prince had not met before, so they couldn't have been in love because you can't love someone you don't even know.
And you are?
Giselle.
We shall be married in the morning.
The Bible here is making a very clear distinction. Love is not about intimate relations. Because if the prince had actually loved Dinah, he would have gone to her father, asked for permission, and married her. And the Bible doesn't say that, oh, he raped her because he loved her. It says he raped her, and then afterwards he reconsidered and thought that he was in love. That's why Christians are really big on waiting until marriage, because a true sign of love is respecting the person you're with until the time is right. You know what gets me really mad? Is that this story has the potential of being a true love story. Dinah met the prince and then they fell in love. But no, this prince woke up that morning and he chose violence. Anyway, the prince goes to his dad and says, I want to marry that girl. So the king goes and talks to Jacob. And when Jacob finds out, he just decides to wait for his sons to come back from the field and deal with that situation. He just stayed in silence. Most fathers would erupt in anger if they heard that their daughter was violated. I mean, if my dad ever found out something happened to me, there'll be like a whole movie on his vengeance.
I will find you.
So then Dinah's brothers come, and when they hear, they're the furious ones and they're ready to kill. So they come up with a very twisted plan to avenge their sister.
I demand vengeance! I want vengeance!
I have no clue why Jacob wasn't involved in the decision-making process of this agreement, because it looks like he was just in the background. His sons dealt with the problem. They make an agreement that as long as all the men of Shechem get circumcised, they'll be able to intermarry. That's clearly not God's plan for the people of Israel. It was the entire opposite. God's vision for Israel was never blending in. It was setting them apart, making them holy, making them different from all the other nations around them. And this agreement was about to mess that up. It happens even now. God's plan for you and God's plan for me is for us to be different from everyone around us. We should influence them. Simeon and Levi take advantage of the situation. On the third day, after all the men were circumcised and were all weak with fever,
I feel dead.
They go into the town and kill all the men, including the king and the prince. And they take their sister Dinah and make a run for it. And when the other sons of Jacob come and they realize all the dudes are dead, they start looting the city and taking captive the women and children. The violent acts committed by Jacob's sons have no justification. They were wrong. They murdered senselessly and they damaged their father's reputation. Why? Because they let themselves be guided by emotions. Those emotions of anger and rage. And they let all those emotions guide their actions. We should be wise and know how to control our emotions and not let them control us. Because when you're mad, you say things you don't mean and do things you regret. When we are wronged, ask yourselves, what would Jesus do? And sometimes we're not gonna like the answer to that question. When Jacob finds out the horrible things his sons did, he's terrified. He's scared that the neighboring cities of Canaan are gonna all come against him and kill his family. And when he scolds his sons, he says something very interesting. He says, I will be ruined and my entire household will be wiped out. The funny thing is, his household was already being wiped out with that deal his sons made with the city of Shechem. Sometimes you need to ask yourselves, Are the decisions I am making aligning with God's plans for me? Look for God's guidance, which is something that Jacob clearly wasn't doing at this point. Dinah suffered a tragedy, and then she isn't mentioned again in the Bible, so we don't know what really happened to her afterwards. But I'm sure God didn't forget her. There are people who have gone through some traumatizing things, but when you seek refuge in God, He takes your tragedy and replaces it with something good. I've seen Him do it in my own life, taking pain and turning it into purpose. If you're going through something painful, know that God still sees you.